Due to the risky jump and struggles with the police, Carpio sustained injuries. When it came time for his sentencing, Carpio came to court.
Boy, they beat the dog shit. Golly! That's your
Carpio
face?
Sustained injuries.
Boy, they beat the EBGBs out of you, boy. Look at his face. That boy, he got stung by a bee and he allergic to it. His face look horrible. They beat the dog shit out of that man. What's going on, man? It's your boy Life Kwame. Hey, I'm back with another one. Yeah, I'm pushing. I'm doing 2 a day now. I'm doing 2 a day. I probably ain't gonna upload them both in one day, but I'm doing 2 a day now. And I got my glasses on, so I'm feeling more smart, more intelligent, more, this way.
Saying pull the trigger that killed your son, masturbates to memory.
What?
You just gave me 40 years.
What the fuck you just say? What did he say?
Saying pull the trigger that killed your son, masturbates to memory.
You just gave me 40 years.
What?
Sir? Yes. You just gave me 40 years. Well, guess what? Sir, what's this?
You out of there, GG. No, sir.
Charges for murder in Michigan. Smith Riley was involved in an armed robbery on November 16th, 2013 in Norwood, where he and 2 other men approached a parked car. Inside the parked car was 20-year-old Portia Brooks and her boyfriend, Aaron Martin. Smith Riley knocked on the window with a handgun and forced Martin, who was in the passenger seat, out of the car. Jaleel then proceeded to go through Aaron's pockets and demanded his cash. Once Jaleel had taken every dollar Aaron had, he then took his life with a shot to the head, causing permanent brain damage. However, Jaleel wasn't done there. Right after shooting Aaron, he then leaned into the car and fired at Brooks, who was sitting in the car, twice. And she died 3 days later. Fortunately, Martin survived the shooting, but sustained serious injury. Before the judge announced the sentence that Jaleel would be facing, Portia's family got the chance to address the jury and the man who took their daughter away from them. Sharon Brooks, Portia's mother, brought the box containing her daughter's ashes to the courtroom, as she had for previous court dates. She stated that Smith Riley had ruined her life and killed her identity as a mother of 3.
This is what I have left because of his greed, his selfishness, his complete disregard of and disrespect of others and life. But as you can see, I get nothing back except the reality that she is gone.
Tia Marie Brooks, Portia's sister, also spoke emotionally and requested that Smith Riley be handed the maximum sentence.
I have to deal with life without Portia, so he should deal with life without parole.
Then, Aaron, who Jaleel shot in the head, spoke to the court.
She's still here with us, and she will always be here. So she's our angel looking over us, helping us get through these hard times.
As if Smith Riley's crime was not outrageous enough, his reaction to his sentence was even more dramatic. During the trial on August 11th, 2021, Smith Riley pleaded guilty to aggravated murder and attempted murder. However, he later decided to withdraw his guilty plea against the advice of his attorneys.
Well, from the beginning, this was an emotional day for the families of both of these.
What the hell are you trying to say?
Smith Riley decided to reverse his plea halfway through the sentencing hearing. They were shocked, and his attorneys were too, in part because it puts the death penalty back on the table.
Prior to receiving his sentence, Jaleel was heard apologizing in court as what appeared to be a last attempt at showing remorse. Additionally, Jaleel's attorney made a final attempt at saving face.
And he knows that he can't go back in time and undo what he did.
Despite...
Y'all know how I feel about defense attorneys, man. Defense attorneys got to be the most wickedest people on this earth. They do. They got to be the most wickedest people on this earth. They will literally sit there and try to confess. I say confess, my bad. They will literally sit there and try to tell you don't tell the truth. That's what they do. That's what they do. They try to get a mass killer out of any situation just for that money. That's crazy to me. That's crazy to me. I'm like being a defensive turn.
Despite the tears and the apologies,
That money.
Judge Charles Kubicki, presiding over the case in Hamilton County Common Pleas Court, denied Smith Riley's request and sentenced him to life in prison without the possibility of parole. The 23-year-old monster that is currently rotting behind bars collapsed to the floor of the courtroom upon receiving his sentence. Rotting behind bars collapsed to the floor of the courtroom upon receiving his sentence.
Wait. Oh my God. Oh. Look at his face. Man, we slowing this down.
Bars collapsed to the floor.
Boy, that's fake.
Of the courtroom.
Ain't collapsed. That's fake.
Floor of the
That's fake.
collapsed.
Oh my
To
God.
the floor of the court.
That's what you get. That's what you get. That's what you get. You drove. That's hilarious, though.
Room upon receiving his sentence. Smith Riley also received an additional sentence of 11 years for a related attempted murder charge. However bad you think Smith Riley's case was, it can't be compared to the infamous case of T.J. Lane. This is T.J. Lane, who's facing charges for multiple murders in Ohio. T.J. Lane was a convicted American murderer who gained notoriety after committing a horrific crime at Chardon High School in Ohio. On February 27, 2012, the Ohio Police Department responded to multiple calls from teachers and students that there was an active shooter in the building.
High school, we had shots fired, gunshots, multiple gunshots. 911.
Chardon High School, we need police up here. Was there someone in the building with a gun?
Yeah.
According to police reports, Lane entered the school and headed to the cafeteria. It was here that T.J. Lane opened fire and killed 3 students and severely injured 3 others. 6 people got physically harmed at the hands of T.J. Lane that day, but hundreds, if not thousands of people left Chardon High School on February 27, 2012, with intangible pain that will last through eternity.
I ain't gonna fake it. I don't trust my daughter in no school. People can do whatever they want. Most schools ain't got metal detectors. Most people ain't got to be mad at the kids. They just come up there, want to shoot everything. They don't like a teacher up there, so they come up there and shoot the teacher, then start shooting everybody. Yeah, I don't trust my daughter in these schools. There's other reasons too, but yeah, I don't trust my daughter inside the building of these schools.
Eternity.
Glances of your friends laying all over the place. There's blood. There's people screaming. Everybody's running in different directions, and you're just trying to get out.
But, well, you sound like a NPC.
Eternity.
Glances of your friends laying.
Look at, he has no emotion, none whatsoever. He has not one emotion, and he's seen all this.
All over the place. There's blood. There's people screaming. Everybody's running in different directions, and you're just trying to get out.
He next. I said it. I don't care. Y'all know me. Y'all know I don't care. That man next. He's going to be the next one. Watch. That man had not one emotion. He's saying seeing blood and friends and stuff laying on the ground. That man kept the most straightest face ever. You better watch that man. Watch that man.
Saw a kid holding a gun pointed towards a group of kids.
Do you remember the look on the gunman's face?
I never looked at his face. I just looked at the gun. I still can't think about it all because it's just so scary.
Lane's actions sent shockwaves.
And he looked like he's lying. I don't know what to believe now, no more. I don't know what to believe no more. That man looked like he lying. And the other one, they had no emotion.
Waves through the community. He was swiftly apprehended and charged with 3 counts of aggravated murder, 2 counts of attempted aggravated murder, and 1 count of felonious assault. As if the murders were not bad enough, Lane showed no remorse for his actions at the trial and refused to cooperate with his attorneys. Instead, he appeared in court wearing a t-shirt with the word killer written on it, and even gave the middle finger to the victims' families. During the sentencing hearing, Lane made a shocking statement.
Saying pull the trigger because your son, masturbates to memory.
The statement caused outrage and disgust, not only among the families of the victims, but also across the entire nation. The judge presiding over the case, Judge David Fury, described Lane's behavior as heinous, unprovoked, and senseless, and sentenced him to 3 life sentences in prison without parole. Lane didn't even bat an eyelid when he heard his sentence. He remained emotionless and unremorseful. Lane's behavior and reactions were likened to that of a psychopath.
He looked like Sid from Toy Story. That's exactly what he looked like, Sid from Toy Story. Don't worry. When I edit this video, I'll put the picture up there. Don't worry. That's exactly who he looked like. Ugly ass boy.
However, not every convict remained emotionless after hearing their sentence, like in the case of Ryan Stone. This is Ryan Stone, who is facing charges for going on a crime splurge throughout the nation, including kidnapping and assault, all of which was captured and broadcasted live by helicopters. The chase began after Stone hijacked a car with a 4-year-old boy inside and drove off, leading police on a dangerous pursuit that lasted more than an hour. During the chase, Stone drove up to 100 miles per hour and was reckless in every regard of the word. He's seen here overtaking an innocent civilian on the highway, throwing them out of the car before carrying on in the new vehicle. But that's not all. Watch here as he exits the highway, opens the car door at full speed, then slams onto the brakes right before crashing into another car parked in an intersection. Investigators believe this was a sorry attempt at another carjacking. Stone also crashed into several other...
That was your great escape? To run like you got ants in your damn pants? Well, what is this?
Investigators believe this was a sorry attempt.
Oh my God.
At another carjacking.
I don't like him.
In an intersection. Investigators believe this was a sorry attempt at another carjacking. Stone also crashed into several other vehicles during this chase, causing numerous injuries. At one point, he even came inches from taking out a policeman who was trying to place stop sticks on the highway. He eventually crashed the stolen car and attempted to flee on foot.
Look at. That boy's slow as hell. That boy's slow. That boy is slow.
However, he was quickly apprehended by police and placed in a holding cell.
He figured wolf.
As if Stone's actions weren't bad enough, he was caught on tape boasting about his actions to a friend who visited him in the cell.
Hey, did you know I made the news in the UK and Australia? What? Yeah, my lawyer told me I made the news in the UK and Australia. If you type in Grand Theft Auto on YouTube, my shit comes up first.
Ryan also believed that he should be compensated for his viral car chase because the news channels are using his car chase footage.
I'm going to contact Health of News or have you contact Health of News or somebody. You guys aren't getting paid using my name.
Stone was charged with 26 crimes involving kidnapping, motor vehicle theft, assault, and illegal police.
GG.
Stone's sentencing hearing was emotional. In court, many of his victims and their families can be heard speaking about the impact of his crimes on their lives. Some spoke of physical injuries they had sustained in the crash, while others described the emotional trauma they had experienced due to the incident. Stone spoke at the hearing. He cried, expressed remorse for his actions, and apologized to his victims. Isn't it ironic that in the same week, Ryan was captured in the video on the left, laughing and boasting about his crimes, and on the other video on the right, he's seen crying and begging for sympathy from the court, as he finally realized the severity of his actions. Despite his apology, the judge in the case was unmoved, noting that Stone had shown a pattern of criminal behavior and that he posed a threat to society. The judge handed down the maximum sentence possible. Stone pleaded guilty to all charges and was sentenced to 160 years in prison without the possibility of parole. Stone was in tears when he learned
Wait
he
a
was 3 years in
minute. That
prison
boy got a
without
black
the
man sentence.
possibility of
Stone, what? 160 years in prison. That's crazy. That man literally got a black man sentence. That's a black man sentence. That's crazy. 100. He ain't killed nobody. He just stole some cars and wrecked them. He did kidnap that kid. That's a fact. Hopefully that kid doing good. I don't know. That's crazy. But 160 years. Okay, he will likely be eligible for parole. After 75 years, though? Oh, yeah, GG's. He's done. Pack him up. Get him up out of here. Get him up out of here. Pack him up. You're
Stone
done.
was in tears when he learned he'd spend the rest of his life in prison.
Yeah.
Stone blamed his actions on drugs, and his show of remorse might be sincere.
And the way he was running, that boy
some
definitely was
convicts
on
are rather
drugs.
shocked
That's
by
a
their
fact.
sentences, like in the case of Seth Welch and Tatiana Fusari.
I think that was
This
that
is Seth
kid.
Welch and
I think I
Tatiana
remember this.
Fusari,
I think
who
I
are
remember
facing
this.
charges for first-degree murder in Michigan. Seth and Tatiana were the parents of 10-month-old Mary Ann
Yep.
Welch,
Yep.
who police said died of malnutrition and
Yep. I remember
dehydration
that.
due to neglect
I remember
on
that.
August 2nd, 2018, in Solon Township, Kent County, Michigan. Child Protective Services had been involved with the family since 2014 after THC was found in the system of their firstborn child.
What?
Mary weighed only 8 pounds at the time of her death. Her parents refused to seek medical help, citing religious reasons and distrust of the medical system. The family home was found to be unhygienic during the initial investigation, with evidence of vermin,
It's more wicked people out here than we know.
insects, and mold. The doctor who performed the autopsy confirmed that Mary was suffering from chronic malnutrition caused by withholding food and water. Seth's call to 911 revealed their level of neglect for their daughter.
And he said, when you found her, she was already believed to be deceased, right? Yes. And that's when you consulted with a lawyer? Yep. Do you believe she was beyond help already? Oh, yeah. She was dead as a door now.
When in court, the prosecutors made sure to highlight just how neglectful the parents were of their 10-month-old child.
You didn't know that.
She was
And
dead
don't
as
tell
a
me you didn't intend
donut.
that because you didn't get her little tush out of that crib. You left her in there. You ignored her because she was an inconvenience.
The couple was initially charged with felony homicide murder in August 2018. In June 2020, Seth Welch was convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison without parole. In 2021, Fusari testified that her husband was abusive and that she was not allowed to take Mary to the doctor.
He got very angry with me. He smacked me across the face and he told me that he knows he said, you know what the I think about doctors. I told you Mary is fine. She's fine, now drop it.
In November 2021, Fusari was sentenced to life without parole for first-degree murder and an additional 15 to 30 years for first-degree child abuse. When the judge pronounced their life sentence, Seth's mouth dropped open in shock and Fusari started crying. For many people, this couple got what they deserved. However, this wasn't the only time a convict got a sentence that felt like justice. There was the case of Esteban Carpio. This is Esteban Carpio, who is facing charges for murder in Rhode Island. Carpio is an American murderer who killed a detective at a Providence police station in 2005. Providence Police Detective Sergeant James L. Allen and another detective were questioning Carpio at the Providence Police headquarters for accosting an 85-year-old woman, Madeline Gata. According to police reports, the second detective left to the third-floor interview room to retrieve some water. It was here where things took a turn for the worst.
Carpio had asked for water, and the two detectives that were in there with him, one left to go get the water and locked the door behind him. And they tragically heard Detective Allen say, I think he's going to kill me. He's got my gun, he's going to kill me. By the time they broke it down, the officer was dying, and Carpio had jumped out the window.
However, he was recaptured a few minutes later amid struggles with the police. But that was not the end of the drama.
Why would you?
Due to the risky jump and struggles with the police,
You know what?
Carpio sustained injuries. When it came time for his sentencing, Carpio came to court.
Boy, they beat the dog shit. Golly! That's your
Carpio
face?
sustained injuries.
Boy, they beat the EBGBs out of you, boy. They beat the bruh. Them boys took turns. That boy like a raccoon. Y'all almost beat that boy to a pulp. That's crazy. They said the police did
Drama.
that?
Due to the risky jump and struggles with the police, Carpio sustained injuries.
Injuries? That boy. That's a sentence. They Rodney King that man. They beat the dog shit out of him. Oh shit. Oh man. That boy looked like Martin after he fought Tommy Hearns. Oh, bruh.
When it came time for his sentencing,
look at that. Oh my God.
Carpio came to court wearing a mask designed to keep him from spitting at or biting others.
No.
His face was red.
They made his line uncrooked. I mean, they made his line crooked. Look at his face. Look at his face. That boy, he got stung by a bee and he allergic to it. His face looked horrible. They beat the dog shit out of that man.
Bruised and swollen. When he appeared in court, his family members screamed and accused the police of brutality. The family believed that they forced him to wear the mask to try and hide the brutal revenge
yes,
they
that's
gave
what it
Carpio
was.
behind closed doors. In fact, Carpio's aunt went on live TV to say this.
It's police brutality. He was mentally ill, and he needed help, and we couldn't get it. We tried and tried, and he didn't deserve this.
However, Providence Police Chief Dean M. Esserman argued that Carpio's injuries were sustained when he jumped from the third-floor interview room and resisted arrest. The FBI later investigated the police, but it was concluded that they did not use excessive force.
No civil rights violation when injuries are incident to arrest.
Boy, you just lied that fast. He fell and both eyes was... Stop, bro. Stop. Y'all just A-Town stumped that man. That boy like he was just in a damn stampede. I mean, damn foots was on that man's face. Look at his face. That boy new name is Bootlicker. Y'all just... All right, I'm done.
Meaning, if he's fighting the police officers, the officers have the right to use whatever force necessary to subdue the subject.
On June 27, 2006,
I know it hurt when that boy
found
cried.
Carpio guilty of the murder of Detective Allen and the stabbing of Madeline Gatta. Despite his plea of insanity, Carpio was sentenced to life in prison without parole. At first, he showed little reaction to his sentence and remained unmoved. However, later, in an attempt to win over the jury, he was heard apologizing for his actions.
Every day, I face the facts of what I did and what happened.
Carpio claimed he was suffering from mental illness at the time of the crime, but the court didn't entertain the claims. However evil you think Carpio is, how does he compare to Kayla Mendoza, who tweeted this the same night she took 2 girls' lives in a deadly drunk driving crash? This is Kayla Mendoza.
Ms. Mendoza, to 2 counts of DUI manslaughter. That's count 1 and count 3. How do you plead?
Who is facing charges for double manslaughter, among other charges in Florida. The 20-year-old woman who was not licensed to drive was convicted of the murder of 2 women while drunk driving in Fort Lauderdale, Florida on November 17, 2013. Before the crash, Mendoza went to a local bar with her manager and colleagues from her job, where she drank 2 fishbowl margaritas. A few hours later, Mendoza got behind the wheel of a Hyundai Sonata and drove the wrong way on the Sawgrass Expressway.
Kayla hopped into her car and went speeding the wrong way down the freeway at more than 80 miles an hour. She collided head-on with another car, killing beautiful young women. Marissa Cotroneo and Caitlin.
Damn, they gotta be beautiful because of...
Mendoza was charged.
Oh wait, look at your face. You look at her. She hate her.
At more than 80 miles an hour, she collided head-on with another car, killing these 2 beautiful young women. Marissa Cotroneo.
They beautiful. Why? Because you think they beautiful? That's crazy. Now, I get it. They human. That's not what I'm saying, but you sound like you hated that lady.
And Caitlin Ferrante, both just 21.
Mendoza was charged with 2 counts of DUI manslaughter while impaired, 2 counts of DUI manslaughter with an unlawful blood alcohol
told y'all
level,
gonna hate me.
2 counts
I
of
view things
vehicular
different from
homicide,
y'all.
and 2 counts of driving without a license causing death. Mendoza's then boyfriend owned the Hyundai Sonata involved in the crash and explained that the too drunk to care tweet was directed toward him.
The too drunk to care tweet was for my boyfriend because he was upset I was out, hanging out with them and with Marcelo drinking because he wanted me to be home.
The Ferrante and Cotroneo families filed lawsuits against Mendoza, her boyfriend, the T-Mobile store where Mendoza was employed, and the Tijuana Taxi Company. On May 4th, 2015, 2 months after pleading guilty to 2 DUI manslaughter charges, Mendoza was sentenced to 24 years in prison. Mendoza was apologetic throughout the trial. When she heard her sentence, her apology and crying intensified.
No matter how much time passes, I'm gonna live with that in my heart every day.
After her sentence, Mendoza will also serve 6 years of probation and is permanently banned from driving a motor vehicle. Mendoza's apologies and remorse showed that she may yet be saved. However, the same cannot be said for Adrian Dunn.
30 years.
This is
30
Adrian
years.
Dunn, who is facing
15
charges
years
for murder in
manslaughter. She
San
got 2
Antonio.
times 15 years
Adrian, an
manslaughter.
ex-convict, was sentenced for the
So
murder
her.
of Joaquin Tariq Antonio.
What's up your head, dog?
This is Adrian Dunn, who is facing charges for murder in San
Is that a tattoo?
Antonio.
He did it. Shit. Yep, he did it. Whatever it is, he did it. I know that sound crazy. Dang, my bad, big dog. But
Adrian, an ex-convict, was sentenced for the murder of Joaquin Tariq Charles. Police said that Adrian shot Charles in the back during a drug deal in a parking lot on July 16, 2012. To make matters worse, this wasn't even Dunn's first encounter with law enforcement.
To prison twice for possessing a firearm after this murder. He committed another shooting a month before this murder. And he's shown zero remorse.
Prosecutors urged the jury to impose the maximum sentence, noting that Adrian had an extensive criminal
that is
history
tattoo.
and had shown no remorse for the murder. Prosecutor Jason Goss can be seen here holding the hand of the victim's parents. Before arguing to the jury that a life sentence was necessary to prevent another family from suffering, as Charles' family had.
Her son, who has to suffer, and this family who has to suffer because of the defendant. And that's why we're asking you for a life sentence.
If you thought the crimes were horrendous, wait till you see how Adrian reacted to his sentence. Throughout the trial, Adrian showed no remorse and couldn't have been less concerned. He was found guilty of the crime. Still, his attorney argued that a sentence of 35 to 40 years would be more appropriate. His reasoning?
Don't give Adrian a chance to go into prison and try to make something of himself so that when he gets out, if he ever gets out, he can try to be an asset to our community.
However, the jury deliberated for just 2 hours before returning with a sentence of life in prison. As the jury's decision was read out, Adrian began to fight with Bexar County Sheriff's deputies, attempting to escort him from the courtroom. Dunn's behavior was marked by profanity and outbursts. He was eventually subdued and removed from the court. Adrian's case can be termed a drug case gone bad. However, while he remains stoic and combative, there are other convicts who break down in court and feel genuine remorse for their actions, like in the case of Ellis Nelson Ortiz Nieves. This is Ellis Nelson Ortiz Nieves.
That boy hurt.
Bruises. Some of the bruises were in the shape of a belt buckle.
Man, I ain't gonna let you sit here and say no crazy shit about me, man. No, man, because he's saying shit he don't even know, man.
He was facing charges for the murder of an infant in Michigan. The cause of death was physical abuse, which was later ruled as murder. The 4-year-old boy, Giovanni Mejias, was the son of Ortiz Nieves' girlfriend, Sonia Hernandez. Sonia claimed she had no involvement in the crime. However, her neighbor had a different side of the story.
Sonia was well aware. She was well aware of what was happening because she told him that was his responsibility to whoop them.
Ortiz Nieves denied abusing the boy, but the judge and prosecutors believe his beating the child resulted in his death. Kent County deputies reported that when they arrived at the Gaines Township trailer, where Ortiz Nieves was left to care for several children under 11, it was here that they found Giovanni left on the kitchen floor. An autopsy showed that Giovanni died from internal bleeding caused by an abdominal tear, which would have been caused by an adult, not a child. During the trial, Kent County Circuit Court Judge Mark Trusock can be heard condemning Ortiz Nieves' actions, reprimanding him in very strong words, and insisting that he should never be allowed out of prison.
You are the lowest form of human life that I've been able to observe or see. That you committed this murder and that you beat this little boy to death.
The judge described the injuries suffered by Giovanni before his death.
I'm finna say it. I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it. I ain't gonna say it.
Causing Ortiz Nieves to become upset and struggle with deputies, who had to remove him from the courtroom.
You had put cigarettes out on this poor little child. There was evidence of that from the pictures. Anybody says anything back there?
Ortiz Nieves was sentenced to life imprisonment without parole and was given a sentence of 80 to 150 years for first-degree child abuse. Ortiz Nieves...
Bro, see, look at that, though. That's crazy. No, it ain't crazy that it's sentenced. Like, if you did that to the little boy, yeah, you deserve that. I ain't saying that that's crazy, but old boy who did that Grand Theft Auto, what's his name, Sean, who couldn't fucking run? He got 160 years, and he killed nobody. And he got the same sentence as him. That's crazy. That's crazy. What?
Nieves' reaction might suggest that he is guilty. However, this wasn't the only time a convict reacted emotionally to their sentence. There is the case...
Look at his face. He drove. That been another video, man. I will do a part 2 on this if y'all want me to. Just let me know. Hit the like, comment, subscribe. Just let me know if y'all want a part 2. Matter of fact, you ain't even got to let me know. I'm going to do a part 2 on this. 21 minutes, 44 seconds. Remember that. Remember that. 21 minutes, 44 seconds. I will continue this later on. But that's been another video. Hit that like button, subscribe. Do all that for you, boy. Post notification, comment. You know, which I doubt if everybody watched the end of this anyway, but still. But alright.